All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we are diving deep into Elon Musk's brain.
Yeah, we're going to try to, at least.
Through his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience.
That's right, episode number 2281.
This one is a long one, folks. Over 3 hours.
Yeah, they cover a lot of ground.
AI, government, UFOs.
Even election integrity.
We'll try to unpack all the key insights, the controversial takes, and maybe a few of the head-scratching moments, too.
Right.
Yeah. He had some interesting things to say about
yeah, like, did you know?
the U.S. government.
Yeah, he thinks it's like the biggest scam in history.
Yeah, well, he does call it that.
He does.
And then there's, the whole AI thing.
Oh, yeah, he's got some thoughts about AI.
Yeah, and a little bit of a fear, maybe, that he's going to get assassinated.
Oh, yeah, that comes up, too.
Yeah, so should be a fun ride. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive in.
So one of the big things Musk talks about is this idea of a woke mind virus that he thinks has infected a lot of institutions.
Yeah, he really goes after this.
Yeah.
He thinks it's leading to all these diversity initiatives.
Right.
That prioritize ideology over, actual merit and competence.
Which, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, diversity is obviously important, but is it more important than
Right. Yeah, he breaks down
people's lives?
Yeah.
Like he specifically mentions the FAA.
Yeah.
Firing air traffic controllers.
Vilified ones.
Qualified air traffic controllers because of diversity quotas.
That's his claim. Yeah.
And then he talks about the NSA.
The NSA.
Being infiltrated by, was it sexually explicit chat rooms?
Yeah, that are obsessed with these woke talking points.
And it's like, guys, this is the NSA.
Yeah.
Like, you should be worried about other stuff.
You would think so, yeah.
So it's a pretty wild claim.
It is.
But it kind of makes you think, are we so focused on this woke ideology that we're losing sight of, like the bigger picture,
right?
The things that actually matter.
Yeah, and he really
like safety and security.
He ties this whole woke mind virus thing into this idea of media propaganda and coordinated messaging coming out of mainstream media.
Yeah.
He gives this example,
which if you've been paying attention at all,
right,
you've probably seen this too.
Well, yeah, he's like, how many times have we seen
like every news outlet using the exact same phrases,
yeah,
to attach Trump?
Yep.
I mean,
like they're all reading from the same script.
It's a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely raises some questions.
And he also talks about how,
how he makes that heart symbol with his hands?
Oh, yeah.
And
like a little heart?
Like a little heart thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they try to say that that's a Nazi salute.
Oh, yeah.
He brings that up as an example of this media bias. Like they're trying to twist anything he does
right.
into something negative.
Make him look bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, it's interesting, right?
Yeah, it is.
Don't you think, how much can we trust?
Yeah, how much do we trust?
What we see.
The media, yes.
In the media.
Oh, it's a big question.
And do they have an agenda?
Right.
I mean, clearly, if they're all using the same language.
Seems like it.
To attack somebody, it seems like there's something going on there.
You would think so, yeah.
So that's something to think about.
It is.
I mean, it's pretty disturbing, actually.
Yeah, especially coming from someone like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Who's, usually pretty level-headed.
Yeah.
And he's
not really known for being a conspiracy theorist.
No, not really.
Yeah.
He's more of a tech guy.
Yeah, a science guy.
A science guy.
Yeah.
But he seems pretty convinced about this woke mind virus thing.
Yeah, and how it's affecting everything.
Yeah, from the media to
government agencies.
Right. Everything.
It's pretty widespread, according to him.
Yeah, I mean, so it's definitely food for thought.
Yeah, and from media bias, he kind of goes on to
what?
Talk about the government.
Yeah, government inefficiency.
Yeah.
Which he has a lot to say about.
He calls it
a poorly managed business.
A poorly managed business.
With an unlimited credit line.
With an unlimited credit line, which, kind of makes sense if you think about it.
It does.
Because, where's the government getting its money from?
From us.
From us.
The taxpayers.
Yeah. So it's like they don't have to worry about making a profit.
Not really, no.
They don't have to worry about, balancing a budget.
Well, they're supposed to, but
in the same way.
It doesn't seem like they do.
The private company does, right?
Right, exactly.
It's like, they just keep spending.
From printing money.
And printing money.
Which is a whole other issue.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other episode.
Exactly.
But, he has some pretty wild stories.
Oh, yeah, he does.
To back this up, about his Department of Government Efficiency, which he calls DOGE.
DOGEGG.
Apparently, they found out that the Navy got like $12 billion
For submarines.
for submarines,
Oh, they haven't produced a single one.
but they haven't produced a single one.
Like, where did that money go?
Yeah, where'd that money go?
It's a good question.
So I mean, if that's not government waste, I don't know what is.
I know, right?
And then he even goes so far as to say,
Like, this is where it gets really wild.
yeah, that the government is running like $1 trillion scam
Mm-hmm.
with examples like Social Security fraud,
Yeah.
where they've got like 20 million dead people
Who are still getting
who are still marked as alive,
Social Security checks.
which is leading to massive, payouts.
Millions, if not billions of dollars wasted.
So I mean,
It's pretty crazy.
if this is true,
Yeah, if it's true.
then, where's our money going?
Right.
I mean, as taxpayers.
Like, where are our tax dollars actually going?
Yeah, it's a little concerning,
Yeah, very concerned.
to say the least.
Yeah.
And he kind of contrasts this with,
What?
how public companies have to go through these really rigorous audits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like
Every penny is accounted for.
every penny is accounted for, but the government seems
They
like,
can just kind of do whatever they want.
yeah, no accountability,
Right.
no transparency.
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about how much power they have,
Yeah, exactly.
how much money they're spending.
Yeah, so
It's-
our money,
That's definitely,
something to think about.
yeah, something to keep in mind.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so
This is where things get a little bit spicy.
this is where it gets good. Okay.
A little juicy.
So Musk and Rogan, they start talking about the Epstein client list
Oh, boy.
and the JFK files,
Two of the biggest mysteries.
which, have both been delayed for years. And nobody really knows why.
Right.
I mean, they say national security, but it's like, come on, guys.
What are they hiding?
What are you hiding?
Right. Really?
And Musk, he's got a theory about this.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks it's because there's this, what does he call it?
A hostile crew
A hostile crew.
within the government.
Yeah.
These entrenched bureaucrats.
Yeah, who don't want anything to come out.
Yeah, who are basically resisting
That might expose them.
any kind of investigation
Yeah.
that could potentially expose their own wrongdoing,
Yeah, so it's like they're protecting their own secrets.
protecting themselves.
Even if it means, keeping the public in the dark
Exactly.
about what really happened
Right.
with Epstein, with JFK.
And he even talks about
I mean, who knows what else?
Trump and how Trump's appointees
Right.
were constantly facing roadblocks.
Yeah, like trying to navigate this bureaucracy.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to clean up a
Yeah.
corrupt company.
Yeah, like imagine.
But everyone who works there is actively trying to stop them.
Yeah, you walk in and it's like everybody's got their own agenda.
Yeah, and they're not going to let you do anything.
Yeah, and they're not going to let you
That's going to rock the boat.
rock the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, I mean,
Pretty disturbing stuff.
it's pretty disturbing. It's
Yeah.
pretty disheartening, actually.
It is.
But it also makes you think, like,
What can you do?
what can you do? Like,
how
how do you hold people accountable
Right. How do you hold these powerful people accountable
when the system itself
when the system is rigged?
rigged
Right.
to protect them?
Yeah.
Like, it's a tough question.
It is a tough question.
It's a question for the ages, really.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like there's an easy answer.
No, I don't think there is.
Maybe Elon's got some ideas.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. So
This next one's a hot topic.
it is.
A little controversial, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
And here to dive deep.
We're here to dive deep.
Right.
So they get into election integrity
Yeah.
and illegal immigration.
Two very hot topics.
Very hot topic.
Yeah.
And Musk, he basically claims that illegal immigration is being used to import voters
Mm-hmm.
for the Democratic Party,
Okay.
which, if you're on the left, you're probably going to be like,
Yeah. That sounds like a conspiracy theory.
that sounds like a conspiracy theory,
That's
right?
right.
But if you're on the right, you're probably like, yeah,
knew it.
I knew it.
Right.
So it's a
divisive issue.
it's a very divisive issue.
Sure.
But he does bring up some interesting points.
He does.
Like he cites California
Okay.
giving illegal immigrants the right to vote
Okay.
and making it illegal to ask for ID at the polls,
Okay.
which, if you think about it, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, it
Oh.
is. You would think
Like, why would you
that you would want to make sure.
not want to verify that people are who they say they are
Right. That they're eligible to vote.
when they're voting?
Yeah.
So-
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
It is.
And then he even goes as far as to warn that
Oh, boy. Here we go.
if this continues,
Yeah.
America could become like a one-party socialist state,
A one-party socialist state.
which, again, depending on your political leanings,
Right.
that could be
You might be okay with that.
a good thing or a bad thing.
Or you might be terrified.
Right, exactly.
Depends on your perspective.
So it's a bold claim.
It's a bold claim.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something to, to consider.
It is. It is.
I mean, whether you agree with him or not,
Right.
It's
It raises questions.
it raises questions.
Yeah, about immigration.
About immigration, about election security.
And how the two are intertwined,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. So
It's worth thinking about.
definitely worth thinking about.
For sure.
Now let's switch gears a little bit
Two?
and talk about AI.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Elon's favorite topic. Well, he's got a lot to say about AI.
He does.
He does. And, some of it's pretty scary.
It is. Yeah.
But some of it's also pretty exciting.
Well, that's the thing about AI. It's got
It's got this potential.
this potential for both good and bad.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Elon sees both sides of that.
Yeah, so he talks about
What are some of his fears?
his fears. Well, he's worried that AI is going to become like
Way smarter
way smarter than humans.
than us.
Yeah.
And basically pose an existential risk
Yeah.
to humanity.
Like take over the world kind of thing.
Yeah, basically, which, I mean, we've seen it in the movies.
You've seen it in the movies.
Right. Terminator, Matrix.
Yeah, Terminator, Matrix,
all that stuff.
It's a scary thought.
It is, yeah.
But
He also,
he doesn't think it's inevitable.
no, he doesn't.
He thinks we can prevent it
If we're careful.
if we're careful.
Yeah.
But we have to be, proactive.
Right, we can't just
We can't just let AI develop
let it run wild.
willy-nilly.
That's
Right.
exactly.
We have to
We have to set some boundaries.
we have to think about the ethics
Yeah, the ethics of AI.
of AI.
Which is something he's been talking about for a long time.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
And he even
He even criticizes OpenAI,
OpenAI. Yeah.
which is a company that he co-founded.
Yeah.
He's not happy with them.
He's not happy with them anymore.
Not at all.
Because he thinks they've kind of abandoned their
An initial goal,
initial mission,
which was
to be open source
source and nonprofit.
and not profit.
Right. And now they're
Now they're closed source.
Closed
source and for profit,
for profit.
which he sees as a huge betrayal.
Yeah, it's like they went against everything they initially stood for.
Exactly.
So it's
He's not happy about it.
he's not happy about it.
No.
And he's
got his own AI company now
got his own company, yeah,
called Grok.
which he claims is
It's the
a maximally truth-seeking AI.
a maximally truth-seeking AI.
Yeah, that's his.
It's like
that's his pitch
it's like the opposite of
of what he sees as the problem.
with other AI.
When these other AIs, yeah.
So it's
He says it prioritizes accuracy
Right.
over political correctness.
right. It's not afraid to
It's not gonna.
say something that might be offensive.
Yeah, it's not
At
gonna
least it's true.
self-censor or try to fit in with
It's not going to try to please everybody.
some kind of woke agenda. It's
Yeah.
just going to tell you the truth as
Yeah.
it sees it, which is an interesting concept.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it is.
And he gives some examples
Of what?
of
Of how AI can be biased.
how AI can be biased.
Yeah.
Like he talks about AI generating images.
Like fake images.
Yeah, fake images of the founding fathers.
Okay.
But like
But making them look diverse.
making them look diverse, which, historically
hopefully.
not accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
Not at all.
And then he also talks about AI saying that misgendering someone is worse
Then nuclear war.
than nuclear war,
Okay.
which is just like
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's pretty extreme.
Right. So it's
So
he's
just
just trying to show
He's trying to show how AI can be programmed with
these harmful biases.
that can lead to,
some pretty crazy outcomes.
some pretty crazy outcomes.
Right.
And then here's
Here's the kicker.
the kicker.
Yeah.
He thinks that the first silicon-based consciousness, meaning like a truly self-aware AI,
An AI that's like sentient, conscious.
could emerge within the next like 5 to 6 years.
That's pretty soon.
That's very soon.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Makes you wonder
it's
if we're ready for that.
are we ready for that?
Yeah, are we?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So I mean, that's just
The tip of the iceberg.
that's just the beginning
Yeah, in terms of what they talk
of
about
what they're talking about.
in this 3-hour conversation.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
But we're going to try to do
We're
it.
going to do our best.
So stick with us
Yeah, stay tuned.
as we continue to dive deep
Into the mind of Elon Musk.
into the mind of Elon Musk. All right. All right, welcome back to the mind of Elon Musk.
Round 2.
Round 2.
We're still in the Joe Rogan experience, 2281.
Still, yeah, 3-hour marathon.
It's a marathon.
We left off with, the whole AI singularity thing.
Right.
5 to 6 years, conscious AI.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, but before we get back to the robots taking over.
Okay.
There was this really interesting idea that Musk brought up about immigration.
Okay, what's that?
So he calls it a golden ticket system.
A golden ticket, what is that?
Yeah, so this comes up when they're talking about, illegal immigration and the impact on the economy. Mm-hmm. And Musk, he's like, what if we just offered like a fast track to legal residency?
Okay.
For anyone who's willing to invest a certain amount of money in the U.S.
Okay, how much are we talking?
He throws out a figure, like $5 million.
$5 million.
$5 million and you get a green card.
Wow.
Boom, you're in.
That's a pretty high price of admission.
It is, but
But I guess if you've got that kind of money lying around,
right,
why not?
His reasoning is that, these high net worth individuals, they would bring in valuable skills.
Yeah.
Capital.
Investment.
Yeah, they would boost the economy.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it would also incentivize people to,
to come here legally.
Yeah, come here legally instead of trying to sneak in.
Right.
So it's an
interesting idea.
It's a pretty radical idea.
Yeah.
Like essentially you could buy your way into American citizenship.
Yeah, I guess in a way.
It's definitely controversial. It's very controversial.
Yeah.
On the one hand,
yeah.
it could be a smart way to attract investment and talent.
Yeah, $5 million is a lot of money.
It is.
So you would think.
But on the other hand,
yeah,
it feels kind of unfair.
Yeah, to those who can't afford it.
Yeah, like what about the people who are, struggling to make ends meet?
Right.
They don't get a golden ticket.
Yeah, it creates a two-tier system.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the wealthy.
The wealthy have all the advantages.
Get all the perks.
And everybody else is just kind of,
stuck. Yeah.
So it's a tough one.
It is.
It's definitely something to,
to think about.
To ponder.
Yeah, the implications of that.
The ethical implications.
Yeah.
But let's get back to AI for a minute.
Back to the robots.
Back to the robots.
Okay.
Because Musk, he has even more to say about the potential dangers.
Mm-hmm.
And
what does he say?
He makes this really interesting point.
What's that?
That AI doesn't have to be like evil.
Okay.
Or even sentient.
To be dangerous.
To be a threat.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
It just needs to have...
To have what?
Goals.
Okay.
That are misaligned with human interests.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
So he gives this thought experiment.
Okay.
About an AI.
All right.
That's tasked with maximizing paperclip production.
Paperclip production.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds pretty harmless, right?
Yeah, who doesn't love paper clips?
Everybody loves paper clips.
Right.
But
what?
His point is that this AI,
yeah,
if it's not programmed carefully,
okay,
might decide that the best way to make paper clips is to convert all matter on Earth, including humans, into paper clips.
So we all become paper clips.
Yeah, we're all just raw material for the paperclip machine.
That's a little disturbing.
It's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
But, it's a thought experiment.
It is. But it makes you think, right?
Yeah, it says about the unintended consequences.
Yeah, even a seemingly simple goal,
right,
if it's taken to the extreme.
By a super intelligent AI.
Yeah. Could have disastrous consequences.
Yeah, paperclips everywhere.
Paperclips everywhere. No more humans.
No more humans, just paperclips.
So it's definitely something to,
to keep in mind.
To be mindful of.
Yeah, as we develop these AI.
As we're creating these increasingly powerful AIs.
Right, make sure.
We got to make sure that
their goals are aligned with ours.
Yeah, their goals are aligned with ours.
Yeah, that we're on the same page.
We don't want to end up as paperclips.
No, nobody wants to be a paperclip.
Okay, speaking of potential dangers.
Okay, what else?
They also get into deepfakes.
Deepfakes.
Which are...
Those are scary.
Those are really scary.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen a deepfake yet.
You've probably seen one and just didn't know it.
You've probably seen one and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
They're getting so good.
They're getting so good.
It's hard to tell.
It's almost impossible to tell the difference.
Yeah, between real and fake.
Between a real video and a fake video.
And you know what that means?
What does that mean?
That means you can't trust anything you see online anymore.
Right. You could be watching a video of
the president
saying something crazy.
Yeah.
And it could be completely fake.
And you'd have no idea.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous.
It's very dangerous because, I mean...
Think about how that could be used.
How could it be used?
To spread misinformation.
Right.
To manipulate public opinion.
To influence elections.
Yeah, to start wars even.
Yeah. I mean, it's a powerful tool.
It's a very powerful tool.
And it can be used for good or for bad.
And right now, it seems like it's mostly being used for bad.
Yeah, unfortunately. So
it's something we need to be aware of.
We need to be aware of it.
Yeah, and we need to be careful.
And we need to be very critical.
Yeah, about what we see and hear online.
Of what we see and hear.
Especially when it comes to videos and audio recordings.
Yeah, because you never know.
We never know.
Okay.
Ready for something a little lighter?
Yeah, let's take a break from the doom and gloom.
Okay.
Okay, so this one's kind of out of left field.
All right, come on.
But Musk actually proposes renaming the Gulf of Mexico.
To what?
To the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America.
Okay.
I know, right?
That's,
sounds crazy.
It's bold.
But he makes this point that, geographically speaking, a large part of the Gulf's coastline belongs to the U.S.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So he's like, why not call it the Gulf of America?
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Right. Geographically.
Geographically. I mean, it's not going to happen.
No, probably not.
But it's an interesting thought.
It is, yeah.
And it kind of makes you think about...
About what?
Like how names and labels shape our perception of the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Like the power of naming things.
The power of naming things.
Yeah, definitely.
And how,
how it can influence.
It can influence our thinking.
Yeah, how we think about things.
Without us even realizing it.
Right, subconsciously.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's just a good reminder to,
To what?
To not take things at face value.
Yeah.
And to always
question
assumptions.
Yeah. Don't just accept things blindly.
Yeah. Think for yourself.
Think critically.
Be critical.
Yeah.
Speaking of questioning assumptions.
Okay. What now?
Musk also doesn't shy away from, challenging the prevailing narrative.
About what?
About the January 6th Capitol riot.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah, I know. It's a sensitive topic.
It is.
But what? He basically pushes back on the idea that it was like a full-blown insurrection.
Okay.
Right. He's like...
What does he say?
Let's not exaggerate what happened here. And he points out that, there wasn't...
Widespread violence.
Yeah, like widespread violence or armed conflict.
Okay.
Like people weren't, shooting each other. It wasn't like a civil war.
Yeah, it wasn't like a full-blown war.
Right.
Okay.
So he's basically saying...
Let's be realistic about it.
Yeah, let's be realistic about
what actually happened.
What happened here.
Okay.
And
he questions...
He questions the motives of those who are so quick to label it an insurrection.
Okay, so he's basically saying...
Yeah, like what's their agenda?
Right, why are they trying to push this narrative?
Yeah, push this narrative.
That it was like this big, scary...
An
insurrection.
Coup attempt.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. Because,
it's different perspective. It's a very different perspective.
Than what we usually hear.
Than what we usually hear in the mainstream media.
Right, yeah. He's definitely
not afraid to
go against the grain.
Go against the grain.
Yeah, he's not afraid to
challenge the conventional wisdom.
To challenge the narrative.
Yeah.
And that's refreshing.
It is refreshing.
In a way.
Yeah, because, it's like...
It makes you think. Okay, maybe
there's more to the story.
Maybe there's more to it than
what we're being told.
Right. Yeah.
So it's definitely...
food for thought.
Yeah. And it's good to,
to hear a different perspective. Right.
And to,
to question things. Yeah, don't just accept.
And to not just blindly accept
what you're told.
By the media. By the government.
By anybody.
By anybody, right.
Yeah. Think for yourself. Use your brain.
All right. So, moving on.
To what?
This next one's kind of funny.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, when they're talking about, the challenges...
Of what?
Of reforming the Department of Defense.
Oh.
The Pentagon, right.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
It's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, it is.
Musk, he actually suggests that you would need someone like Chuck Norris. To audit the Pentagon.
We've audited the Pentagon.
I know, right?
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But it actually
Makes a good point.
It makes a really good point.
What's that?
Which is that the military-industrial complex is so entrenched.
So powerful.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So resistant to change.
Yeah, it's like its own little world.
It's like its own little world.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible to,
to break into.
To
change it.
To change it.
Yeah, to reform it.
It's like trying to,
turn a battleship around.
Yeah. Turn a battleship around.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot of time and effort.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy.
No. So he's basically saying...
He's saying you need somebody.
Yeah. You need somebody...
with superhuman abilities.
Like Chuck Norris.
Yeah. To come in and just...
to clean house.
Yeah.
To break things up.
Yeah. To shake things up.
Yeah. To make some real changes.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's just going to stay the same.
It's going to stay the same.
And it's going to keep...
spending money
and
wasting resources.
Yeah. And not really,
achieving its goals.
Right. So
it's a good point. It is.
Even though it's,
it's a little bit funny.
It's a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But it makes you think.
It does.
Okay. Let's talk about cryptocurrency for a minute.
Okay, crypto. Yeah.
Because Musk has been,
very involved in that world.
Yeah, very involved.
Yeah, and he's been both praised and criticized.
Yeah, he's got his fans and his haters.
Yeah, for sure.
But he...
what does he have to say about it?
He talks about,
the rise of meme coins?
Yeah, the rise of meme coins.
Like Dogecoin. Yeah.
Which have become...
incredibly popular.
Yeah, incredibly popular.
Yeah.
And it's mostly thanks to,
online hype.
Social
media influencers.
Oh,
yeah.
Including Musk himself.
Yeah, he's definitely contributed to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But he does warn.
Warn about what?
That,
these investments are...
these are highly speculative. And you shouldn't put too much money into them.
Okay.
He even compares it to...
to what?
Gambling.
In
a casino. So it's like...
buyer beware.
Yeah, buyer beware.
Do your research.
Before you invest.
Yeah, before you put your hard-earned money into...
yeah, because you could lose it all.
You could lose it all very easily.
Yeah. So
it's a risky game. Yeah, it is. And it's important to
be aware of that.
Yeah, to be aware of the risks.
Before you get involved.
Before you jump in.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to government spending.
Okay. Back to the money. Okay.
Because Musk has a lot to say about that. Mm-hmm. And he expresses some serious concerns.
About what?
About the national debt.
Okay.
Which is,
it's a big number.
It's a huge number.
Yeah.
And
then it keeps growing.
Yeah. And he compares the government's approach to budgeting.
To what?
To like a poorly managed business.
Again?
With an unlimited credit line.
Which,
we talked about earlier.
Right.
But he really drives this point home.
Okay, how so?
He points out that, the interest payments alone.
On the national debt.
Yeah. Are already astronomical. Like they exceed
the entire budget.
Of the Department of Defense.
Wow.
So think about that.
That's a lot of money.
Just
to pay the interest.
On the debt.
Yeah.
And that's not even,
paying down the principal.
Right. So it's like we're just digging ourselves deeper and deeper into a hole.
Deeper into debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. No, it's
And
what does he propose we do about it?
Well, he doesn't really offer any specific solutions.
Okay.
But he does,
he stresses
the need for
what?
More responsible fiscal policies and a more disciplined approach to budgeting.
Okay, so basically...
particularly, we need to stop spending so much money.
We need to tighten our belts.
Yeah.
And we need to start... living within our means. Yeah, which is
something that,
most households
have to do. But the government, it seems like...
they just print more money.
When
they need it.
And that's
a problem. Yeah, it is.
For all sorts of reasons.
But
we won't get into that right now.
We'll save that for another episode.
Okay. Speaking of unsustainable systems.
Okay.
Musk, he has some pretty controversial things to say about Social Security.
Oh, boy. What does he say?
He actually calls it...
what?
A Ponzi scheme.
Wow.
I know, right? That's pretty bold.
That's a pretty serious accusation.
Yeah.
What's his reasoning?
His reasoning is that,
Social Security?
Social Security funds
Yeah.
aren't really invested in a way
That generates
significant returns.
Okay.
Right. They're mostly just relying on
current payroll taxes.
Yeah, current payroll taxes.
To pay out benefits?
To pay out benefits.
To retirees.
To retirees.
Okay.
So
he's saying
he's basically saying that,
as the population ages.
As the population ages.
Yeah.
And there are fewer workers
paying into the system.
Yeah. It's going to become increasingly difficult to sustain those payments.
Okay, so
it's like
the math doesn't add up.
The math doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And eventually
what?
The whole thing's going to collapse.
It's going to implode.
Yeah, it's going to implode.
Okay.
So that's
a scary thought.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, especially
for people who are,
relying on Social Security.
Relying on Social Security
for their retirement
income.
Yeah. So
what does he propose we do? Well, again, he doesn't really offer any specific solutions.
Okay.
But
he does raise
the issue.
The issue of its long-term viability.
Yeah, the long-term viability of Social Security.
Okay.
And whether
any reforms are needed.
Yeah, whether any reforms are needed to ensure its solvency.
To make sure it doesn't go bankrupt.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a tough one.
It is.
And it's definitely something that,
we need to be talking about.
We need to be talking about as a society.
As a country.
Yeah, because
it affects all of us.
It affects all of us.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
To what?
Musk, he goes on to talk about...
About what?
His frustration.
With what?
With the lack of transparency in government spending.
Okay.
He says it's incredibly difficult to get.
Even basic information.
Yeah, even basic information about how funds are allocated.
Okay.
Like, where's the money going?
Yeah, who's getting it?
What
are they doing with it?
Right. And he describes his work
with Doji
E as a constant battle
against bureaucracy
and secrecy. Yeah,
it's like he's trying to
to shine a light
on how the government spends our money.
Yeah,
but there are all these roadblocks
in his way.
Yeah, like
because they're trying to
keep him in the dark.
Yeah, keep the public in the dark. About what they're doing
with our money.
Right.
So it's
pretty concerning.
It's very concerning.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if they have nothing to hide, you would think
they would be more transparent.
Yeah, more open
about what they're doing.
About how they're spending our money.
Right. So
it makes you wonder.
Yeah.
What are they hiding?
And why are they so afraid?
To let us know.
Yeah,
what's going
on.
Right.
So
it's a big question.
It's a big question.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Buckle up.
Why? What's next?
Because this next one's going to be a little bit controversial.
Okay, hit me.
So Musk shares his views on affirmative action.
Okay.
And
what does he say?
He's not a fan. No.
Oh.
He expresses concern that these policies often prioritize diversity
over merit. Okay.
Which
he sees as a problem.
Okay,
why?
Because he's worried
that
this approach could compromise
performance
and even safety.
Okay.
Especially in industries
that
require a high level of technical expertise. Like aerospace engineering.
Okay.
You don't want somebody who's not qualified building a rocket.
Flying a plane.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know what I mean?
You want the best people.
You want the best people for the job.
Regardless of
their race, their gender, their background, whatever.
Right.
So it's a
complex issue.
It's a complex issue.
Yeah, it is.
And it's one that,
people have strong opinions about.
People have very strong opinions about.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Oh. So it's not an easy one to talk about.
No. But
I think it's important to
have the conversation.
Yeah, to have the conversation.
And to, expert speaker. All right, so we're back for the final round of our Elon Musk deep dive.
Part 3, the grand finale.
The grand finale, yeah.
Still with Joe Rogan, episode 2281.
Still going strong after 3 hours. I mean, we've been through a lot.
Yeah. Woke mind virus, killer robots, government scams.
The whole 9 yards. Yeah, pretty much. But now I think it's time for something a little more uplifting.
Uplifting. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, let's talk about Musk's vision for the future.
Okay, the future, yeah.
Yeah, because, he's not all doom and gloom.
No, he's actually quite optimistic.
He is, yeah.
About humanity's potential.
Yeah, he really believes in our ability to, overcome challenges and create a better future.
Okay, so what's his vision?
Well, for starters, he's convinced that we need to become a multiplanetary species.
Multiplanetary, okay.
Like, we can't just stay on Earth forever.
Right, we got to spread out.
We got to spread out.
Okay.
And he sees Mars as the obvious first step.
Mars, okay, so we're going to Mars.
We're going to Mars.
All right.
And it's not just about, exploration for him.
Okay.
He genuinely believes that colonizing Mars.
Colonizing? Wow, that's a big step.
It is. But he thinks it's crucial.
For what?
For our long-term survival.
Our survival, okay.
Yeah, he paints this picture of Earth being, vulnerable to all sorts of threats.
Threats, like what kind of threats?
Like asteroid impacts, climate change,
yeah,
nuclear war.
Okay, yeah, those are some pretty big threats.
Yeah, I mean, any one of those could wipe us out.
That's true.
So he's like, we need a backup plan.
A backup planet.
Backup planet.
Okay, Mars, our backup planet.
Exactly.
So how do we get there?
Well, that's where SpaceX comes in.
Ah, SpaceX, of course.
Yeah, because Musk believes that SpaceX is leading the way.
In making this happen.
Yeah, and making this multiplanetary dream a reality.
Okay.
And he talks about their plans for Starship.
Starship, yeah, their big new spaceship.
Yeah, the big one, the one that's supposed to take, hundreds of people to Mars.
Wow, hundreds of people. That's a lot of people.
It is. And tons of cargo.
So, a whole colony?
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
And the cool thing about Starship is...
What?
It's designed to be fully reusable.
Reusable, so that means...
So that means you can fly it to Mars, unload everything, and then fly it back.
Back to Earth.
Back to Earth.
Okay, so it's like a space shuttle?
Kinda, yeah.
But bigger?
But way bigger and more powerful.
It can go further?
And it can go all the way to Mars.
Okay.
And back.
That's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
So when's this going to happen?
Well, Musk is pretty ambitious.
He is, yeah.
He thinks we could be sending humans to Mars within the next decade.
The next decade? Wow, that's soon.
That's pretty soon.
So we might actually see people living on Mars.
In our lifetime.
In our lifetime, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
It is.
I mean, whether you think it's a good idea or a bad idea,
right,
you have to admire his
vision.
His vision.
His ambition?
His ambition, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not afraid to think big.
No, he's not.
And to dream big.
Yeah, and to actually try to make those dreams a reality.
Exactly.
Which is pretty inspiring.
It is inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so...
What else? Let's bring it back down to Earth for a minute.
Back to Earth, okay.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, all right.
And talk about climate change.
Climate change, okay.
Yeah, because, that's obviously a big issue.
A huge issue.
That we're all facing.
Yeah, definitely.
And Musk has some
thoughts on that.
He's got some thoughts on that.
Okay.
So, while he acknowledges that climate change is real, he's actually pretty critical of some of the proposed solutions.
Okay. Which ones?
Well, for example, he's not a fan of the push for a rapid transition to electric vehicles.
Electric vehicle. Okay, so he's not on board with the whole EV thing.
Well, he is, in a way.
Okay.
I mean, he does run Tesla.
That's true. He does make electric cars.
Yeah, but his point is that, we need to be mindful of the limitations of battery technology.
Okay.
And the environmental impact of mining the materials.
For those batteries?
For those batteries, yeah.
Okay, so he's
saying it's not as simple as just switching everyone over to EVs.
There's more to it than that.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
And we need to be, more holistic in our approach.
More holistic, okay.
Yeah, we need to consider the entire life cycle.
Of the vehicle.
Of the vehicle.
From manufacturing to disposal and make sure that we're not, just creating new problems.
While trying to solve old ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what does he propose?
Well, he doesn't really offer any specific solutions.
Okay.
But he does advocate for...
a more balanced approach.
A more balanced approach.
Okay.
One that considers both the environmental and the economic consequences.
Of our choices.
Of our choices, yeah. Right. So it's we need to be smart about this.
We can't just jump into things without thinking them through.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he also believes...
In what?
In the power of innovation.
Innovation, okay.
Yeah, he thinks that technology can play a big role in solving climate change.
Okay.
But he emphasizes that, these solutions need to be practical.
And scalable.
And scalable,
meaning they have to be able to work on a large scale.
Okay, they can't just be like small-scale pilot projects.
Right, they have to be something that can actually make a difference globally.
Okay, so big solutions.
Big solutions for big problems.
Well, I like it.
So that's kind of, Musk's take on climate change.
Right.
It's a little bit different
than what we usually hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not just, jumping on the bandwagon.
No, he's thinking critically about the issue.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Yeah, which is, something we've seen throughout this whole conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's a good place to wrap things up.
Okay, so what have we learned from this deep dive into the mind of Elon Musk?
Well, I think we've learned that he's a complex and fascinating individual.
He is, yeah.
He's a brilliant entrepreneur, a visionary leader.
A technological genius?
Yeah, but he's also a bit of a contrarian.
A bit of a rebel.
Yeah, a rebel. He's not afraid to speak his mind.
Even if it gets him in trouble.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
No, he's always pushing boundaries.
Yeah, he's always thinking outside the box.
And he's always trying to make the world a better place.
In his own way.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting journey.
It has been an interesting journey.
Yeah, exploring his ideas.
His hopes, his fears.
His vision for the future.
Yeah, and I think, whether you agree with him or not,
right,
he definitely makes you think.
He does. He makes you question things.
Yeah, he challenges your assumptions.
And he makes you consider different perspectives.
Exactly.
So I think that's a valuable thing.
It is a valuable thing.
Yeah, to be exposed to different ways of thinking.
Yeah, to expand your horizon.
And broaden your mind.
Yeah, and I think Musk does that really well.
He does. He's a great thinker.
Yeah, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
All right, so that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.